Coming up on Mountain News this morning, we follow the ongoing mission to restore power to the mountains as many begin their third day without it. And as people continue to clean up from Sunday's storms, Kentucky passes 2,200 confirmed cases of COVID-19. And today is the final day of the General Assembly in Frankfort, where lawmakers hope to finalize a drastically altered state budget.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Katie Cook. It is Wednesday, April the 14th, and your time is about 6:01. Let's check in with Brandon Robinson for a look at your forecast this morning. Really cold out there, Brandon. I had to give my car a good old scraping before coming in this morning.
And listen, I know we're all a day behind, but today's actually April the 15th. Tax day.
Oh.
Well, it would have been tax day, but now moved till June. So just kind of catching you up there. Listen, I know we all feel like we're kind of in a time warp right now, but it is April the 15th. And again, you're right. It is a frosty morning as we start your day. A freeze warning continues until 10, but visibility is one of our big issues this morning. Give yourself plenty of time to get back and forth, get those cars warmed up as you head out the door this morning. We're going to continue to see that be an issue for us through about mid-morning. Looking at temperatures, they continue to fall, 20s and 30s right now across the region. Heading toward 55 though today. Sunshine will be out pretty soon, and it's going to warm us up quickly as we head into the afternoon. The rest of the forecast is on the way here in just a little bit. Katie?
All right, Brandon, thank you. This morning, tens of thousands of Eastern Kentuckians are still without power. Nearly 1,000 men and women are trying to repair the damage left behind by hurricane-force winds Sunday night. What was more than 62,000 Kentucky Power customers without electricity is now down to about 26,000. Kentucky Power is in the process of finishing up assessments and will then focus solely on getting the lights back on for everyone else.
We should start seeing the ETRs or FETRs, field estimated time of restoration, coming onto the orders today and tonight so that they'll see them for their specific. And I encourage people to use the app, get downloads from those, texts from those of when it's going to come on, because when our people update it from the field, it'll text those customers and you can go in and create a free account.
As of this morning, the most outages were in Knott, Leslie, Letcher, Perry, and Pike counties. More than 85% of all customers in Leslie County are without power. Well, Perry County was one of the hardest hit areas by Sunday's storms here in Eastern Kentucky. Judge Executive Scott Alexander says a whopping 98% of customers in the county were without power after Sunday's storm. As crews continue to bring back electricity, Alexander says they are in constant contact with Kentucky Power for updates.
It's hard to be patient, but be patient. And if we can help or assist, let us know. We're talking to AEP multiple times a day. I think they still have 6 substations down, and they're trying to get all of those back up and online and then get power restored.
Alexander says the water plant is back up and running, and they hope water will also be restored to everyone soon. For many, the past 2 days have consisted of cleanup efforts, from cleaning off roads to picking up porch items and sawing trees. It's been a busy few days for many, and that is certainly true for one family here in Perry County after a large tree estimated to be more than 100 feet tall and 17 feet around came down Sunday night. It missed the 2 houses that surrounded it, but this cleanup process is not going to be quick. WYMT's Will Puckett talked with that family yesterday about the process.
It is the melody of a cleanup process.
I don't know, we'll be here a couple, 3 days, but we'll get it.
One that has people shocked when they roll by.
They shake their head. And they tell me, oh my gosh.
On one side of this massive tree lives Haven King's brother, and on the other side, his sister.
If it went either way, then it would have been a catastrophe. So I thank the good Lord that he knew where to take it.
Sunday night's wind laid this tree down square in between the 2 houses.
Kind of loud. But I told him that this thing would eventually fall.
And fall it did. Now a sight to behold, and a long and loud cleanup process.
Folks we talked with say they are thankful that all that was lost was maybe a shed and a big tree instead of someone's life. Highway 15 was shut down in Perry County last night after a crash. Kentucky State Police could not confirm what led up to the crash or if there are any injuries. We know the crash happened sometime after 10 last night. As of this morning, the road is back open, and we will update the story as we learn more over on WYMT.com. In Pike County, the Kentucky Energy and Environment Cabinet sent a crew to help one family after a soupy mudslide came rushing off the hill and onto their property. We're told this was on Chloe Road. At last check, work was still underway to clean up the mess. Without the help of some power tools, many are having to clean up property damage from Sunday night's windstorm. In Leslie County, one man lost his garage and a brand new dog kennel, and he is already in a tight spot due to COVID-19. WYMT's Emily Bennett tells us the loss of the garage has a deeper meaning.
It just scared me to death.
Winds ripped around Kenneth Purvis's home.
I didn't know what was going on. I thought it was a tornado.
Feeling like the walls were caving in.
But I felt that whole end of that trailer right there just kind of lift up and then slam back down. That's when I grabbed my dogs and got in the floor.
He sat in darkness.
I've only got like 3 candles down there.
And waited for daylight to see the extent of the damage.
You could see there it damaged my roof, tore my gutter off down there.
His brand new dog kennel was ripped apart.
$254.
And pieces of the garage were scattered around the yard.
Pretty much every bit of that was on top of my dog kennel and on top of my fence there, but we fixed it.
But the loss of the garage hits the hardest.
The memories in that garage too, because me and Daddy used to work on cars in it, and me and Papa, and now it's just all gone.
His dad, Delbert Curly Whitehead, a longtime city employee of Hayden, died in a car crash in October.
This is his property. When he passed away, he left all of it to me.
Trying to keep the attitude Curly taught him since he was 2.
He'd always tell me, look at the good things about it.
Not letting the hard times stop him.
And this is all the stuff that we've cleaned up so far.
From picking up the pieces. In Leslie County, Emily Bennett, WYMT Mountain News.
Purvis plans to rebuild the garage when he has enough money. As of last night, he still has no power and told us he does not expect to have it back for a few more days. And as people continue to clean up from yesterday's storms, we learned that Kentucky now has more than 2,200 cases of COVID-19. Governor Beshear also announced 11 more deaths from the virus. At least 115 people have died from the coronavirus in Kentucky. The governor says Kentucky is doing better at finding personal protective equipment, or PPE. The state can get PPE by buying it, manufacturing it, or through donations. Although the state now has thousands of items, it's still not enough because virtually all of the items are designed for one-time use. Kentucky lawmakers went back to Frankfort yesterday working to wrap up the 2020 regular General Assembly session. They are doing it during the COVID-19 pandemic and meeting in a much different way. Items on their agenda include gubernatorial vetoes and possibly another COVID-19 relief bill. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more on what they hope to accomplish in the 2 days.
The end of a regular session that has been anything but.
Please take seats with one chair in between or sit to the sides. We will take ample time in allowing people to speak.
While senators spread out for social distancing, the House voted remotely. Just marking their attendance took nearly 45 minutes.
Representative Brenda, here. Representative Bridges, here.
Lawmakers typically return for the 2 final days of a session to override gubernatorial vetoes.
Do hereby veto House Bill 150 in its entirety.
Governor Beshear has vetoed the bill to require a photo ID to vote. Lawmakers say they plan to override that.
It's a bill that enjoys broad public support. We show our IDs to do just about everything these days. And
They only have 2 days, but they hope to pass another COVID-19 relief bill to provide incentives to jumpstart the state's economy.
Go to restaurants and places of business, potentially looking at some temporary tax relief when we get reopened.
All of this comes while the Capitol remains closed to the public and while the governor continues to call on legislators to finish and go home.
What they should do is they should do only what's necessary and do it as quickly as possible.
I understand that some people don't believe that the work of the legislature is essential, that the Constitution would disagree with them. And we were elected to do a job, and we're here to do the job.
By that Constitution, their work has to be done by midnight, April 15th. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Any new legislation passed yesterday and today can be vetoed by the governor, and there is no way to override those vetoes.
Very cold across the area this morning. Freeze warning until 10 for the entire area, but visibility is one of our big issues as well this morning. So again, give yourself plenty of time. I know a lot of folks are home and staying healthy at home, but for those who still have to work, be careful on the road this morning because it's frosty. You'll have to warm those cars up, and it's foggy. Temperatures in the upper 20s and low 30s this morning. They'll start to head upward here in the next few hours, but right now they're anywhere between 5 and 10 degrees colder than they were this time yesterday, which was 20 degrees colder or more from the day before. 28 this morning, some frost. Sunny this afternoon, we get to 55. A few clouds tonight, dropping it back into the mid-30s, so not as cold. Katie?
All right, thanks for joining us on Mountain News this morning. And more news is on the way next. Coming up, as small businesses try to get bailout loans, time and money are running out. We'll track those numbers for you.